Howdy folks, welcome back to the Homestead with Kevin Kempstead. It's been about 6 months since I did any work and posted any videos on the van. We had a road trip. Unfortunately, I had a lot of videos saved, but my phone died while we were on our trip and I lost all of it. It wasn't backed up. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick update of where we are and where we are headed for the future. And I'm going to show you a bunch of compiled Snapchat videos that I had so you can kind of get an idea of what we did between the last video and now. So I'll lead into that and then I'll come back with some updates. Hi folks, thought I'd give you a quick update on the van. We had a couple pouches to our emergency panel back here, one for road flares and a pouch instead of the mount that we had for the fire extinguisher. And today we're putting some more of that ceiling insulation up there. So that's looking pretty good, just got that front section left to do. And then in the back, we finished off our amplifier mount. So we've got the actual support bracket that's built up on an angle, and then the PVC, basically plywood. It's like a sheet of PVC that holds the actual amps on it. And the amps are actually mounted. You can see these RCA cables will run across there. We'll zip tie those down to it, make it nice and secure. And then there'll be wires coming in and going out and everything. But we're making a little bit of headway. Looking all right. Howdy folks, welcome back to the Homestead with Kevin Kempstead, working on the van. And you can see we are making some progress. Got all the soundproofing on that side and on that side as well. Started laying it on the floor, and I think we're gonna transition. 1 week from now, I should be on the road hitting about El Paso, and I am running out of time. So I think we're gonna forego putting the rest of it on for right now. We're gonna take our template plywood. That's just gonna be what we're gonna use for this trip because, again, running out of time. We're gonna lay that down because I need that floor down to be able to start wiring up these components, which I do need for the trip. You can see I've started running the cables all over the place. This kind of stuff will go up to the new radio. The new radio has been plugged in and it turns on, which is a plus. So we gotta start getting all this stuff hooked up so that we have some entertainment for this long road trip we got. Howdy folks, quick update on the van. I've got my power wired in to the battery. So that's a fuse block there. I had to build a little custom rack to hold it. But that goes from the starter battery to that fuse and then through the van all the way to the back. And I'll show you what I got going on here. I just tested it back here too, and I've got 12 volts on my ground. So I am all set. There is the house battery station. So the battery will go right here. I'm about ready to take this panel back out, and I'm gonna route out an area for the battery to sit down into so that it holds its place. But that power from the front comes right here into that fuse block, and then that'll go into the charger to the battery to inverter and all the other things. But we just tested it on that lead right there to my ground screw that I attached there, and I've got 12 volts running, so we're looking pretty good. All right, there you go. I got the battery in the location it needs to be, and I just got some 3/4 inch plywood and built a frame around it. So now when I lift the battery up out of here, I've got the perfect profile. I'll be able to take a pattern routing bit and just follow the edges and then route out all the middle. I don't need to go down very far, maybe a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch is all. So we're gonna work on that next. All right, folks, follow along on this ridiculously confusing journey. While working on this stuff, this door lost power. Don't know why. I got the locks working again, but the window wouldn't work. So I'm testing everything, and I've got voltage going through all of it. And I'm thinking, well, maybe it's here. Maybe it's the motor. I was like, well, maybe I can test that control to this side. So I've got some wires hooked up right there, blue to blue, white to the other side. And now, if I come over here, see if I can do this no-handed. I'll set you up right there and hopefully you can see this. I'm gonna hook blue up to blue, white up to white. And now if you look that way, when I hit the driver's side window, look at that. So somewhere in the electrical, the wires are messed up. Don't know that, but at least the window's up. Howdy folks, road trip is tomorrow, and I mean, it's not looking great, but a few clean up things and we'll be getting there. One of the things I did want to do, you know, in the final project is maybe put an outlet right there for the girls or whoever's in the back seat to have some power. Obviously, I'm not going to get to that, but what I am going to do is put some power right there. I have some hot leads here. I'll run some wires across up for this side. I cut a quick panel that'll fit right over that spot there. And then for whatever reason, I had 2 of these on hand. Maybe future me or past me was planning for future me. So that's gonna fit right in the hole there. That board will mount up there and they'll be able to plug in for their cell phones, tablets, whatever it is. Howdy folks, welcome back to the homestead with Kevin Kemstead. We are on the road. I got my trusty driver there. Now, as you can see, the van is not done, but it was road trip type anyways. So we've got all of our storage in there, worked out pretty well. What we do not have though are speakers hooked up. I've got speakers in the doors hooked up. So we're gonna be doing some work on the road. Let me show you what I got. I brought the speakers with me and we're gonna build this little box. I pre-cut everything last night and I just need to assemble it today. And then we are gonna take this box and somehow attach it up there on that ledge. That's the idea. Right now we're dealing with phone and a little Bluetooth speaker since we don't actually have anything hooked up to the radio yet. Once we get that done, we actually have to work on the amps and the DSP back there, get everything tuned and connected, and then hopefully we'll actually have some audio in here. All right, up front, the radio's in, radio's working great. We've got this extra knob here that can help control the volume and also switch between some presets for the speakers themselves, so we can switch the input from the radio or the TV and then have the front speakers cut off while the TV is playing, that sort of thing. TV's in. I mean, that's the TV we've always had in there. And these are the speakers that we had built on that road trip, and I just haven't touched them yet. They've just been up there. So eventually those will need to get moved to the back, and then I have another set of speakers that I need to put in here facing backwards. So that'll be kind of the front and rear speaker for the movie system. Up here, it's gonna be hard to see. Let me see if I can block some of this. The amp rack, I ended up getting it set up pretty well. It was really organized. I was happy with the way it turned out. Obviously the speaker wires aren't in there because we don't have the speakers hooked up permanently yet. So we're working on that. I have a subwoofer, and I tested the subwoofer a couple days ago, and it sounds awesome. We figured out the best positioning for that. So now what we've got to do is work on the permanent fixtures that are going to be in here. You can see I've got this bench kind of mocked up, and this is going to be the idea. I'll have a bench here so that we'll have 2 seats for just kind of everyday driving. And then right here will be a tower that'll hold the subwoofer and a couple drawers. Since we got rid of the car jack area where the car jack and stuff was stowed, I'm going to need to have that somewhere, so that'll be in one of these drawers over here. And that setup will just be permanently in the van every day. And then when we are ready for road trips, I'll have a drawer system that can be attached in here. And then we'll also bring in a system that we've had in the past that holds the refrigerator that will go in on this side. So that's what we need to get working on. Most of the electrical stuff is done. There are a few issues, not issues, but just spacing issues that I had to deal with. This panel wasn't quite big enough, this white panel, the plastic panel, to mount all this. So it's a little crowded. I don't know if I'll ever change it or not. It would be nice to have it spread out a little bit more so that I've got more room to work this electrical into. But for now, it serves its purpose. What else? All of the beauty panels are going to have to go in eventually, and I'll have to probably modify a bunch of them, especially back here, to accommodate all of this electrical stuff. And then on this side, same thing, to accommodate the benches that we'll be putting in. So right now, next step I'm going to do, probably in the next video, is start mocking up this tower and how it will incorporate into the bench and how it'll hold the subwoofer. I've got a good idea. I have it written out or drawn out pretty well. Oh, and before I forget, that's that Molly panel that I put on with all of the kind of emergency equipment. That thing's pretty awesome. So the plans look something like this. That's what it'll look like looking from the back. And then this is the bench. You can see I've already got everything measured out. So I've got some plywood, and I'm going to, again, mock it up and just get a good visual instead of just drawing on there. I want to see it in 3D in its place. This is the temporary subwoofer box. I got it covered just to prevent it from getting a bunch of dust in there. I just built a cheapy sub box, and the sub sounds awesome. And it's just a single 10-inch sub, but a little bit of bass in there will sound really good, especially with the movies. So that's where we are right now. Hopefully we'll get some more videos out pretty soon.